Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here, doing something shamelessly self-indulgent and weird. I'm gonna make a video about Puzzle Quest, a game from 2008. It's super old, super janky looking, but it's a really fun game. It was a game I was obsessed with for a while back in college, and my girlfriend plays these like free-to-play match 3 games, and it made me miss Puzzle Quest. So I figured I'd go ahead and buy it from Steam for 10 bucks and relive my college days. And the game's a lot of fun, so I thought I'd make a video in case you missed this game and show you what it's all about. Basically, this is a match 3 game, except where you're like fighting against enemy monsters, and the things you match give you mana, which you can use to, you know, cast spells, and skulls that you match deal damage, and you're trying to kill the enemy. And you walk around the map, and you go on these quests and all this crap. So I'll show you how it works. We're probably not going to do a whole playthrough, but who knows. And just, you know, as you can see, this is the kind of game that you like. It's got a lot of hidden cool features, like a lot of puzzle elements, and as well as the battles, that make it kind of an engrossing game. Anyway, I seem to remember an expansion came out and there being more classes than this, but whatever. We'll go ahead and take Knight. If you are playing for the first time, I think Knight is a pretty good class because he has a lot of health and a lot of, you know, he gets a lot of damage from matching skulls. So it's very simple, very straightforward, and he has some good abilities too. Let's go ahead and pick a Portrait. Yeah, to be honest, not the world's biggest fan of the anime style. Luckily, this game's not really that anime-ish. It's just the portraits that are like that. Alright, well, let's go ahead and give our hero a name. How about Miss... Can I not do periods? No. Miss Prissy Pants. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. There's a whole bunch of story that is really kind of dumb and pointless, so we're just going to skip it all. Sorry for anyone who really cares about story. So yeah, interface definitely dated and not the most polished. You can't actually drag the map by clicking and holding. You have to like move your mouse down. Anyway, so we're here in Bartonia, cleverly named, and you access all your inventory and stuff through here. Click the Get Quests button, accept it. We're not going to be reading any of this crap. I gotta go talk to my dad. Okay, let's visit my dad. Alright, sweet, I get a shield. So we look at our inventory. So items can be equipped. You got a miscellaneous item. You can also find like an armor, a weapon, and a trinket or something. Can't remember. And they do things like this gives a 10% chance to block a point of damage whenever you receive 2 more damage. It's honestly really, really shitty. But hey, it's the thing we got just for walking in place and clicking some buttons. So let's go to Get Quests and introduce ourselves to the mechanics of the game. Honestly, this first quest is pretty dumb, but it just shows you how things work. There are 7 different types of gems in this game on an 8x8 grid, so it's actually pretty well balanced. There's usually some matches, but it's not so saturated with the same stuff that the game is trivial. There are 4 different colors: green, red, blue, and yellow. Making a match 3 of a particular color gives you mana in that color. So green is the earth mana, red is fire mana, yellow is air mana, and blue is water mana. But let's not kid ourselves. Who gives a fuck? There's red, green, yellow, and blue mana. So let's just do a match here. Boink. I got 3. How much mana you get per match depends on your skills. As you can see, the Knight's not particularly skilled in the Earth or Fire Mastery department, so he only gets 3 mana per match in those colors. But if you look at Water Mastery, he's got 2 points in that. So if I actually match some Water Gems, I still only get 3? Really? Huh. I thought I'd get 4 for having 2 points in that. Well, whatever. The point is, you can match skulls to deal damage. And in this game, the dummy doesn't take turns, but that's literally the only time it ever happens. Normally, your enemy would be taking turns alongside you. If you can manage to engineer a 4 of a kind, like I'm about to with my pro plays, you actually get an extra turn. But here it doesn't really matter, because again, the dummy doesn't have any turns to take. So really, you just do crap in this introductory thing until you have enough, you've dealt enough damage to him to kill him. The only thing that matter are the skulls. Honestly, I kind of wish the tutorial had a little more action, like, you know, the enemy actually making moves, so that it wasn't so pointless. But yeah, let's just go ahead and see if we can get some skulls. Go in here. Balls. Alright, now let's do it over here. La-dee. Dippity-da. There we go. That's a big match. Did he die yet? He didn't. Alright. Well, let's just bring this stuff down. Oh yeah, so as mentioned, money can be used to buy items in the shop, but I actually don't recommend doing that. The most important use of money is to upgrade your Citadel, which allows you to like train riding beasts and learn new skills and upgrade your stats and all this good stuff. Okay, so anyway, we did that stupid quest. Now it's time to do advanced combat training, where we actually fight against one of our fellow knights. So, at the beginning of combat, whoever has the highest cunning gets the first turn. So this guy has a cunning of 1, I have a cunning of 1, and I guess the player breaks ties, so I get to go first. Which is kind of nice. It means I get to, like, you know, pop these skulls and deal 4 damage to him. So notice my battle has a skill of 2, so when the skulls match, they deal 4 damage. If my battle were at 0, then the skulls would only deal 3 damage. Now let me check. I really feel like I should get 4 for a match of yellow or blue because I have points in those. Aha, yes. Notice how yellow I got 4, but red only got 3? That's because I have a point in Air Mastery, but no points in Fire Mastery. These wildcards can count as any color of mana, and they give like a bonus. They basically multiply how much mana you get for them. So those can be good to match. At the moment I can't. So we'll do a red match over here. Now let's talk about the abilities. You start the game with 1 ability, you get more as you level up, and eventually you actually have so many that you have to choose which ones to use. You don't just like get to use all of them. So this destroys a gem and you get the full effect of the gem that you destroyed. It's honestly not that great of an ability. Other classes definitely have better starting abilities than the knight does, but I think the knight, you know, makes up for it later on. So for the most part, we're gonna go, you know, trying to kill him by making skull matches. Now, these guys are flaming skulls. They deal 5 bonus damage and they explode everything around them. So when you do use thrust, this is typically what you want to use it on, the exploding skull, so that it blows up all the stuff around it and deals some damage. Unfortunately, he managed to get a combo with 4 of a kinds and pop the skull legitimately before I could pop it with my thrust. Which sounds really dirty. Oh, baby, let me pop it with your thrust. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and set us up nicely here. That's what I like about Puzzle Quest compared to the other match 3 games, like, you know, Bejeweled and whatnot. It's that, you know, in those games, it's all about setting up combos for yourself, but here you have to not only make moves, but you have to, like, watch to avoid setting up combos for your opponent. Okay, so I got a 4 of a kind extra turn, which is good, because a skull match appeared. Let's get some blue mana so I can actually cast Thrust. It's a pretty expensive ability, but I want to have it ready in case another flaming skull appears. So the purple things, they give you experience. You get experience. The more experience you get, you know, the more that you level up. Honestly, they're pretty shitty. Once the game gets hard, you don't ever really want to do purple matches or gold matches because it's just much better to match for mana, which actually helps you win the battle. Plus, the gold and the experience that you get for completing quests completely dwarfs what you get, you know, from trying to grind it in battle. Alright, so no more flaming skulls are appearing, so there's nothing for me to thrust. You can also do a combo sometimes if you thrust a gem and 2 gems fall on top of 2 gems that are the same. You get a 4 of a kind, which, you know, can be good. Now, he has an ability, Divine Right, which I will get later, which is it destroys all the purple stars on the screen and you get the full effects of them, which helps homogenize the board a little bit and increase your odds of getting, you know, some combos. And you pop those skulls. Oh, that was kind of nice that a whole bunch of skulls fell down. Can I do any more 4 of a kinds? I sure can. 4 of a kinds, very important to find because of those extra turns that they give you. And this, I can't get a 4 of a kind with it, but if I slide this over, the flaming skull will drop down and explode, so I'm going to use my pro plays all days, every day to get some extra damage there. Let's match these skulls. Alright, he's down to just 2 health. At this point, I'm just going to thrust him to death. Because if I just thrust a skull, it deals 1 damage. Really, that's not a very impressive use of the skill, but whatever, that finished up the battle. Alright, so the game, as you can imagine, gets harder as you go. Here we have a missive. We gotta go talk to somebody and do something. Oh no! A thief leaps out and attacks me. Oh, I forgot to level up. Hang on. Let's go ahead and level up. So let's talk about the level up system in this game. There are 7 different skills. Each one of them corresponds to a different type of gem. So there's the 4 masteries, which correspond to the different mana colors. Battle increases how much damage you do with skulls. Cunning increases how much gold you get with coins, and it also helps determine whether you go first in battle. And Morale increases your hit points. Now, if you hover over this, it looks like a confusing mass of crap. So what you pretty much have to do is just memorize like a table of thresholds. Basically, not every additional point in a skill increases how much you get from matching gems. The thresholds are at 1, 4, 8, and then it jumps up really high. It jumps up to 21 from there, and then 50. So it's only like, apart from these minute percentages, the only thing that really matters are the thresholds at which you actually get like a +1 to a match of the type. Now, additionally, each class has different costs for raising these abilities. So, for example, as a knight, like I mentioned earlier, you have it only costs 1 point to up your battle and 1 point to up your morale, and you get 4 points every time you level up. My strategy is to only up the skills that cost 1 point. Eventually you'll be able to build a Citadel and pay gold to upgrade the other skills. Like, I would like to get, you know, 4 per match for green and red as opposed to just 3, but it's not worth spending 2 of my points on it. The other thing you have to choose is whether you're going to spend all your points in one skill, or you're going to split your points across the 2 skills that you can raise for 1 point each. And I'm going to go for a split so I can have a high health and get, you know, decent damage off my skull matches rather than having crazy health or crazy skull damage. I think if you're a min-maxer, it is actually best to just pick one skill. Like for Knights, morale is pretty good because you can have tons and tons of health and just win every battle by attrition. And then you can use the Citadel eventually with your gold to raise your battle skill to a respectable level. But for now, we're going to split our efforts. So I'm going to get both of them to 4 because they are, that's the next threshold. And then we'll also up morale a little bit for some extra hit points. And work on the next threshold for that. Let's enter the city. Oh my gosh, a thief leaps out at me. Holy buttsack Christ. Alright, let's fight this thing. The thief, as you can imagine, is very cunning, so the thief gets to go first and pop some skulls. Here, we did get this Divine Right skill, so you kind of have to keep an eye on the board and see like when destroying all the purple stars might be a good move. Right now, I'm not sure it is, so we'll just do this and get some mana. Okay, that was pretty cool. Obviously, that was just all luck. Happens sometimes. Let's get some... Oh, I have the bajillion yellow mana now. That's great. So let's get some blue mana going. The thief chose not to match skulls. The computer AI, it's not that smart. Like, it usually will do a 4 of a kind, but it often just like leaves skull matches untaken, which is kind of pointless. I think some monsters though are, you know, smarter than others and will behave differently and make, you know, more of an effort to match skulls and whatnot. Okay, let's get some red mana. Wait. 4 of a kind here. Alright, now let's get some red mana. Usually if you miss a 4 of a kind, you'll find out about it because the computer will just go ahead and make it on his turn. Red mana is good for those thrusts. I can thrust the enemy to death and pop the flaming skulls. Man, that sounds like some kind of disease. Hey baby, are you sure you don't want me to thrust your flaming skull? It doesn't look so hot right now. Alright, so we got a 4 of a kind, another 4 of a kind. And I think we're ready to match those skulls. Oh, that was nice. Didn't even expect that. Yeah, let's just do a Divine Right here. This can be dangerous because it can sometimes set your opponent up for a combo like it did here. But it can also cause a lot of gems to explode and do something good for you. So it's kind of nice. It's a little bit risky, I suppose, but it's usually worth doing once there's a bunch of purple gems on the screen. It also stops mana drain from happening. So if there's ever no moves available, then a mana drain occurs, the whole board blows up, and then both players lose all their mana. So it's like not necessarily bad for you. It can be good if your opponent's still got a lot of mana built up. But it's also, I mean, as just as a human player, it's just really annoying to have to put up with that crap. So it's nice to homogenize the board by getting rid of all the purple stars and reduce the odds of mana drain. Alright, there's a flaming skull here. Let me first get a 5 of a kind, which makes a wild card appear. And now I can get a 4 of a kind there. And there. Do I have any more 4 of a kinds? I do there. Oh, if only I could get the skull down here for a 4 of a kind. Thrusting does end your turn. Unless stated otherwise, the use of one of your abilities does take up your whole turn. So we'll just thrust this flaming skull. And I guess that was the kill, so I didn't need to think about it. Alright, we leveled up again. Let's get battle up to 8. And did I get 2 level ups or something? Alright, whatever. We'll just end it there. And then say we're done. I must deliver the message to my father of serious shit happening in Bartonia. Alright, we got a longsword here. This adds 4 to your battle skill, which unfortunately doesn't do anything for me because my battle skill's already 8, so I'll look forward to, you know, improving that when I can. You can shop for items. The items have various level requirements and skill requirements. So I can buy this leather armor, for instance, 25% chance to protect, but you know, whatever. Like, I think it's better just to save up your money and use it in the Citadel. Like, this is actually good. It would give me an extra damage on my skull matches, but, and it's actually pretty cheap, 40 gold. I guess I could just do it. All right, let's do it. Let's buy it. Yes. 40 gold. Man, if 40 gold ever makes the difference, then so be it. So we go to here, inventory, lance is equipped. Okay, great. Let's get some quests. I suggest doing the optional quests. I don't like to repeat the repeatable quests because that's just sort of grindy. But I suggest doing the optional quests so that you get more gold and experience, so that eventually you can, you know, build your Citadel. Basically, all the money you find, you'll be able to spend on improving your stats in the Citadel because it is kind of expensive to do it. Okay, let's make some pro play moves here. We're first of all going to get this 4 of a kind for a bunch of red mana. Okay, that actually ruined the thing I was about to do after that, so you guys aren't going to get to see my massively awesome skills. I was going to have another 4 of a kind set up. Oh, too bad. Alright, well, let's pop these skulls. If I pop... Oh my god, I did an illegal move. I did not mean to do that. If you do an illegal move, by the way, you lose 5 health and your turn, so try not to do those. That was silly. I was going to say that if I matched these guys would have dropped and he could have dealt damage to me, but all that has passed and doesn't matter anymore. Alright, oh, let me just set him up for some damage and a 4 of a kind. Cool. He actually chose to do none of the skull matches that were available to him for some weird reason. And he could have had a 4 of a kind there, but instead he chose to get more mana. The computer usually will choose that kind of catty corner play to get 2 match 3s instead of doing a 4 of a kind with it, which I think is a mistake. But whatever. The game does get pretty hard, so it's not like the game goes easy on you. Okay. Let's see here. There's nothing really good to thrust. Let's just keep getting this red mana. Oh, I got some more skills. Adds 50% to damage on both players for 6 turns. And notice here, if my yellow mana is really high, it doesn't end my turn, so I can be the first to take advantage of it. This is a really good skill. So the enemy loses a turn and takes some damage. So you can, you know, set up some combos with the stun skill. Okay. Let's see here. I guess yeah, we'll just do it to show it. So I can like stun the enemy so that they miss a turn. Then, you know, I think this is really no combo to set up, unfortunately, at the moment. I can't get through any of these or those. Aha. So I can like drop this down now, and then I set up these skulls to be next to each other, and then I can do a damage. So stun is it's an early skill, but it's a really, really good one. Alright, you can also do cool things like stun and then divine right and then take advantage of the new board. So, do I want to do that or do I want to just thrust one of these skulls? The problem is making moves is dangerous. Like if I were to do this blue match, the skull would drop down and then there would be a damage over here. Alright, we'll take a little chance. I'm going to do this. Because stun is a recharge. It's a really strong skill, so you don't just get to do it all day long, which is pretty smart. Honestly, this board is just so dangerous to make moves on. I think, you know, we'll follow some of my Hearthstone advice. A good option now is better than the best option later. Let me just thrust that skull to clear away some of the danger. Well, he managed to get lucky and pop the other one, but I got lucky and I got to pop this one. So that's fine. Okay. She unfortunately got rid of some purple stars, which makes my divine right worse. I do want to get some red mana. See, if I did that, would that work? It wouldn't. So let me just red mana like this. Ooh, a 4 of a kind. How lovely. Oh, wait, there's another 4 of a kind. Wait, the right way is I do this 4 of a kind first, then this 4 of a kind, which makes this 4 of a kind, and then this one. Usually there's not that many 4 of a kinds. That's actually kind of crazy. I guess me thrusting away skulls increases the homogeneity of the board and then makes 4 of a kinds more likely. That's why it's fun to play with the knight. Like classes like the wizard, they can deal lots of damage and have really cool spells, but they don't have things like this early on that allow you to just do crazy things on the board. In fact, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stun him, then divine right, and then let's see what the board's looking like. So yeah, because I did this, I can get a 4 of a kind there. Any more 4 of a kinds with money? Not quite, not quite, not quite. Can't get any red mana, which I would like. So, we'll get some green mana here. It's a pretty safe move. Oh, getting 4 of a kind, unfortunately. Another 4 of a kind. Oh dear. Alright, well, that's okay. Just damage him here. And apparently kill him, because I don't watch my opponent's health at all. So, do I want to try to get battle up to 21? Or morale up to 21 first? 1 extra damage on a skull match, or a bunch of extra health? Let me just go for the extra health. I think that health for survivability is really nice on some of the later fights. Okay, let's get quests. You can only have 4 quests in your logbook at one time, so you do need to make some progress on those. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is take care of these optional quests over here. There's an undead in the middle of the road. So that quest is kind of interesting. You end up having to like go back to Bartonia and fight the undead in the road. Enemies do sometimes spawn on the roads between cities, so as you move around, you might have to go through some fights you wouldn't have otherwise wanted to deal with. Kind of an awkward board. Can't get red mana, which is really important for stun. I guess I'll take yellow mana, which is important for the divine right. There's red mana. So as you play more and get more skills, it becomes like really important. Like certain skills, you know, clearly become really useful to try to get. So you start trying to get that kind of mana early on in the battle. Red is a pretty important one for several classes, and the knight is no exception. Alright, the spider missed a match there. I deal 6 damage thanks to my high battle skill and that lance I bought at the shop against my own advice. But it was 40 gold. I mean, that's so cheap. I missed a 4 of a kind. Oh no! At least I called it out before the move started being made, so you guys know that I missed it. Oh, that's such a pathetic way to try to puff myself up. Alright, so luckily the spider's not taking my precious red mana. So also got a new skill, Trample, which deals damage to the enemy equal to half of the green enemy, and half of the green mana that you've built up, which is kind of nice because green mana is otherwise only really used for stun. So this gives some extra use to green mana. That was a heroic effort on the spider's part, I think. Challenge. I do have a health advantage. But I'm not in a rush. Let's get some more yellow mana here. Alright. 4 of a kind. And I don't think there's any more 4 of a kinds. We'll just match skulls this way so the spider can't countermatch a skull. Okay, red mana is very important. Note that, by the way, you do have a cap on your mana. You only have so much, and that's actually a pretty important balancing factor in this game, is that you can't store up an infinite amount of mana. Now, raising that skill increases the cap on the mana. So, like, the more that you get Fire Mastery, the more that you can hoard red mana. I just actually missed a damage thing there. It's unfortunate. Let's deal damage there, though. And then I got a flaming skull handed to me. That was kind of nice. Alright. Should I stun Divine Right here? Yeah, I think this is the time. So we stun. Do Divine Right. Let's see what the opportunities are. There's a 4 of a kind there. I can almost do a 4 of a kind here, but not quite. Alright. Let's just get some green mana here and see what he wants to do. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Spider takes some money off the field, which I'm fine with. Alright. I'm gonna challenge. Oh wait, I don't really need to. The spider's like all practically dead. So what I'm gonna do then is just get some green mana going here, because then I can trample him to death. Trample is not particularly top tier skill, so I will be looking to replace that once I am able to.
Quest complete.
The other skill I don't particularly like, you can actually see your skills here. Somewhere. There, spells. I'm not a super big fan of challenge. I mean, it's nifty, but I'd like to get something better. So you can have a total of 6 skills in combat. One of the things I find is, I always forget about, is you eventually, like, you know, I'll level up to 7 and I'll get my favor spell. And then I'll level up to 8, courage will become available, but the game doesn't, like, give you a notice, like, hey, you have a different spell to choose from. So a lot of times you'll just go for a while with your first 6 and not swap into the new spells that you have. Okay, let's finish this other side quest by fighting the skeleton in the road. He's actually got more cunning than I do. Gosh, I have less cunning than a skeleton. That's a little bit embarrassing. Alright, got a 5 of a kind there. I can get a bunch of mana here, but not a 4 of a kind. Is there any other 4 of a kind anywhere? I don't think so. Apologies if I missed it. So I'm going to do it like this to get green mana and blue mana. Okay, unfortunately he got a flaming skull match. It's a nice thing though about being a knight. You have a ton of health. Other characters would have like 60 or so at this point. So it's just nice that you can just kind of take the punishment for a little while. I don't want to give him more skull matches. I think this prevents other skull matches. Yeah. Okay, got a 4 of a kind there, and I set up a skull match. What's the best way to do it? Probably like this. Although, actually, I don't think it really mattered. No skull match there. Can't get red mana. Or yellow. Oh, yeah, no, yellow mana is available. Let's grab that. Okay, we have a 4 of a kind here. Getting 2 4 of a kinds, by the way, doesn't stack. It's still just 1 extra turn, not 2 extra turns. It's worth keeping that in mind. Somebody's like, oh, I got 2 4 of a kinds. I get 2 extra turns. Then you like set up a combo, and then it's not your turn, and then you get screwed by the combo that you set up yourself. All right. Oh, there's a 4 of a kind there. Okay. Yellow mana. All right. So I got a skull match here for 6 damage. So you can kind of see why the Knight's just a good class. It's got some pretty strong abilities, like Stun's really good, and Divine Right is good, especially in conjunction with Stun. And then you deal lots of damage on your skull matches, and you have a ton of health. In fact, the Knight's the only class that has Morale as a class skill, so to speak, meaning it only costs 1 stat point to improve it. So the Knight just has is the only class that has just that much health. Here I'm gonna actually stun and do this, because that sets up a combo, giving me a 2 Flaming Skull match. Are there any 4 of a kinds anywhere else that I should look at? No? Okay, so we just blow that up and deal a ton of damage. Okay, I need red mana. I would like a point in Fire Mastery at some point. That's my top priority once I get enough money and my Citadel, so that I can get 4 per match rather than just 3. 3 is really, really sad. Does Divine Right do anything that I can see immediately? No, so we'll just take red mana here. And I got lucky with the skull drop. Alright, blue mana I have a lot of, but I guess I'll just do this anyway. I could thrust a Flaming Skull, then I'm out of red mana. I would really like to stun, so I need green mana for that, which is unfortunately not available. Alright, well, we'll just bide my time here, seeing what opportunities present themselves. Looking for green and red mana eventually. Oh wow, did I just miss that? I just totally missed the Flaming Skull match, if I'm not mistaken. I could just YOLO Divine Right and see what happens. It's likely the opponent would be able to get some good moves out of it. Yeah, whatever. Let's see what we got. A regular skull match, not the end of the world. No red mana appeared, or green mana. That kind of sucked. Could have definitely been better. Let's get some yellow mana back. Alright, he opened up some red mana for me. Any 4 of a kinds? Nope, okay. Alright, luckily leave there. I got a Flaming Skull. It's gonna wake the dead. Man, that was... This is actually kind of a double-edged move. The skeleton spends his turn turning all the skulls into Flaming Skulls, which obviously can give the opponent a huge advantage. Divine Right doesn't do me any good. I want to stun. I am a green mana shy. I'm just going to get this green mana that I need so I can stun. Alright, it's not even necessary. I just have a kill. Alright, cool. Good times. Alright, there's another side quest here. There's another side quest. So I'm just going to wrap up some side quests in this video, and then we're going to call it a day. In the next video, hopefully I'll actually get enough gold that I can buy my Citadel and actually show off some of the other elements of this game. But anyway, let's just go ahead and see how we can do against this bat. The bat has a lot of health. Notice my health is comparable to the bat, so if I were playing any other class, I would be at a pretty severe health disadvantage in this battle. I just set up the bat with a skull match. That was not the smartest play. This wild card amazingly can't be used. There's no red mana anywhere. There's no green mana either. So we'll take some yellow. Still no red and green. Still can't use this wild card. We'll take some blue and hope for... Oh wait, I missed a skull match right there. That was really stupid. Luckily the computer chose to get a bunch of mana instead of skull matching, so I will match the skulls. There's a skull match down here. Wow, I am really not on point. Alright. All these red bubbles, but no actual red mana. Kind of amazing. So we'll get some gold and some experience. There's a 4 of a kind up there as well. Luckily getting that 4 of a kind ruined the other one. Can't actually blow up any of these skulls, but I do have a 5 of a kind, which gave me some red mana. Oh, okay, great. That turned out nice. Okay, this is important, getting red and yellow mana. Alright, lots of skulls all over the place. I'm winning against the bat at the moment, health-wise. Let's just get... Oh wait, if I get green and yellow, this thing will drop down and then it'll be a flaming skull match. So we're gonna stun first. Sucks to lose my green mana there, but I think if we're setting up a combo with a flaming skull match, that was worth it. Okay, we'll do... So I can actually get a lot of red. Do I get red and green if I set up like this? I think I do, actually. Yeah, it was red and green. That was definitely the right play. So we got a 4 of a kind, but it didn't really matter. And now I could trample, but the bat's got a lot of health. I don't think it's worth it to spend my mana on just pure damage when there's more that I could do later with that mana. Oh no! Oh, I did not realize that was the last move available. Crap, I lost all of my mana, so the bat gets the first move on the new board. It is difficult to predict, by the way, that the final move of the board is coming up. So it's not like that was a terrible mistake, but I wish I had spent my mana because I had pretty much full reserves for everything, and now it's just all gone. Sniff, sniff. Okay, well, let's get some red mana back. Flaming Skull Match falls in my lap. And this bat is I feel like this bat has a lot of health for a monster at this point of the game. Jeez. Can I get green? No. Red? No. Okay, so let's set up a green. Maybe the bat won't take it. Yeah, the bat didn't take the green mana. So notice the fact that I'm only getting 3 mana per green match is kind of a problem, because I do want green mana thanks to having a really good skill that uses green mana. So that's definitely going to be nice. And you know, you could just say, well, Papa Boris, do you really need to min-max so much? Why don't you just spend 1 of your level up points to get the damn point on the Earth Mastery? But the problem is, it's not just 1 point. It would be like, I forget if it's 2 or 3 for the knight. So you're giving up 2 or 3 points in battle or morale just to get that extra point, and it's better to spend gold later in the Citadel. Citadel is pretty expensive, it must be noted. It costs like 500 gold to raise a skill from 0 to 1. I think it's 500. And then it actually increases by a 50 gold for each point beyond that. Okay, the Vampire Bat used the haste skill. What that does is makes it so that whenever the bat gets an extra turn, I deal 4 damage. So if the bat gets lucky, so you sometimes just get lucky and get an extra turn for free, or do a 4 of a kind, 4 damage is dealt to the opponent. It's a pretty good ability. Luckily, it shouldn't be able to deal too much damage to me. Alright, let's get a bajillion green manas there. Alright, so at this point, can I set up a combo and pop this with stun and pop that thing? I could just deal 10 damage to the... I've got enough damage with skills, so I'm just going to trample and then stun and kill it. It's so weird that stun deals damage. I mean, it's such a good ability that it didn't even need to deal damage to be usable. Alright, so I leveled up to 7. Let's look at my spells. So I got my 6th. So the one after this is going to give me one where I actually start, you know, having to make choices. Alright, let's take a look quickly at the Citadel. So I can build a dungeon which lets you capture enemies. Sure. Do I want to do that? Let me just save up 1,000 for the temple. Actually, it's going to be a while before I get that. And then I'll have to have another 500 to buy my first skill. Yeah, let's get the dungeon now. So if you fight an enemy 3 times, on the 3rd time you can try to solve a puzzle and capture it, which then allows you to learn abilities from the enemies. If you build a mage tower, it lets you train a mount if the enemy is a beast, and then that like gives you bonuses in combat. And then the dungeon doesn't do anything by itself, but it allows these other things to happen. So maybe I didn't need to spend 250 gold right now because it doesn't do anything, but whatever. Any more quests? I can repeat patrol duty. I don't want to grind, so we'll just do this last quest here, and then we'll continue the epic story of Puzzle Quest in the next video. Alright, the rat is more cunning than I am, so he starts first. Frankly, after a while, it's kind of like every enemy starts first, because none of the original 4 classes have cunning as a base ability, so you're never really going to be buffing it. I'm not sure I'd really want to buff it, even if I could. It's just giving you, like, bonus gold and starting first, but it's just not as good as, you know, having more matches per gem, I think, or having more mana per match or anything like that. It's just not on the same level. Alright, is there any red and green? Actually, there's green. Green's the top priority. Let's look at our new skill, Favor. So what this does is that every time you get an experience point, it gives you a 50% chance to get a life point for it. So let's say you use Divine Right and you pop, you know, 8 stars on the screen. you're likely to get, on average, 4 life points. And then this lasts for 8 turns, plus bonus turns, you know, for every 6 yellow mana that you have. So it can last, you know, somewhere between, like, because you have to have 6 yellow favor to use it, so it's going to be, like, you know, somewhere between, like, 9 and 13 turns that lasts. It's not a great skill, honestly. I will trade it out once I get some better ones. The rat used Scavenged, which takes all the gold off the table. Can I get a 4 of a kind? It looks like there should be one. But there actually... Oh, there is. There it is right there. Alright, glad I caught that in the end. And then we'll get some more green mana over here. I could actually use some red mana at this point. This is kind of in an awkward place. Can't be used. There's a 4 of a kind here. That could set up a combo for blue mana. But I don't really want blue mana, do I? This is like enough blue mana for life. I'll just take it. Ah, a skull fell down in the worst possible place. That's just too bad. And then that lucky extra turn off the skull match gave the rat a whole bunch more turns. Not the end of the world, though. Okay, so I can get red mana here, which would set up a skull match. So we'll do red mana over here, which does not give the enemy a skull match, unless bad stuff happens, which it did. Alright, the rat is really under-healthed, though, compared to me. I mean, the 52 health is just pitiable, given how much health I have. Here, I think we'll do a stun, so I can take this red mana and then match the skulls. I actually do get an extra turn because I got a 4 of a kind on my extra turn from the stun. So I get to keep going, which is kind of cool. So we'll get red mana there, and then a skull came down. Still have a big health advantage versus the rat. Alright, yellow mana is doing pretty good, but it's the only mana I could get. Oh, did I miss green mana? I think I missed green mana. Yeah, it's you know, it's a tricky game to play well. You really got to be good at noticing things. Scavenge led to a 4 of a kind, which led to the rat taking the red mana, unfortunately. Do this. So Rabid Bite causes you to lose mana every turn, which really sucks for the knight, whose mana skills are probably the worst in the game. I think even worse than the warriors, although I could be mistaken. Are there any moves here? I'm just gonna do a stun Divine Right and see what happens. Alright, so I can actually get a ton of red mana. Any 4 of a kinds here? This is open. Oh, there's a 4 of a kind down here. Okay. Any more? Nope. So we'll just get a bunch of red. Oh yes, and I get another extra turn because he was stunned, and I got a 4 of a kind. And I got another 4 of a kind. Okay, so we'll take green mana, even though it gives the opponent a skull match. Because hopefully it'll give me a skull match, and it did. And I needed that green mana so that I can use more stuns. Oh man, I'm still diseased for 2 turns. So I got 3 green mana, and then of course I just lost it all to being diseased. Disease is a pretty tough skill, and that's kind of what happens in this game, is eventually the monsters start dropping some pretty sick skills on you. Another Rabid Bite. So you kind of have to watch the enemy mana, you know, and try to not let the enemy get the mana that they need in order to cast the really strong skills against you. Alright, luckily we just matched skulls till the bat died. Oh, there's more! Alright, well, let's do this one then. Maybe that'll be the end of it. Another... This is a half-dead rat. Oh, okay. Any 4 of a kinds over here? There's too many skull matches for me to really want to take any mana. Unfortunately, a 4 of a kind dropped down, but the rat chose not to get a skull match and give me a 4 of a kind skull match, which I think was a pretty weak move by the AI. So the AI, like, pretty much always finds 4 of a kinds, but does not really seem to think a turn ahead. So to a large degree, you know, the difficulty of the game comes from the abilities the enemy have and like the advantage they have on you health-wise. But it still works. The game I find to be quite captivating, especially once you unlock the Citadel and get all this other stuff. Did I miss a skull match off to the side? I think I might have. Okay. So... let's get some red mana there. Oh, I luckily turned out to have some green mana attached to it as well. Okay. Green mana would be good, but I don't think I can get any green mana from this board. So let's take a bunch of blue mana, which will set me up for some of these other abilities. The Knight's kind of weird. Like, the abilities use a pretty wide range of mana, but the Knight's not that great at getting mana. So that's, you know, a drawback of the class. No class is perfect. Let's get some red. Ah, the rat gave me some green mana. Wait, don't miss the 4 of a kind and the other 4 of a kind. And okay, now I think I can take this green mana. Ooh, I can get some. I get a ton of green mana right here. All right, I missed a 4 of a kind, unfortunately. But now we can trample for a bajillion damage. And I'm also going to stun and divine right and see what pops out. So unfortunately, no skull matches, and I don't see any way to get a 4 of a kind either. So it didn't quite work out that time. I don't have enough mana to do a thrust. But let's go ahead and get some red mana then. Oh my, that looked scary. Alright, red mana is key because it gives me thrusts. But actually the rat's just dead to skull matches. Someone must be controlling these rats. They cannot be far away. Well, that's all I have time for here. This video's gotten a little bit long. So we'll finish up that final quest. And then we're going to go to Gallia to search for Dark Hunter to stop the undead scourge. Are you gripped yet by this gripping story? I hope so. Take care, everybody. We'll be back with some more puzzle quests soon and other things. Goodbye. Please like and subscribe. Bye.